Who remembers the BJ and Bill show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back! Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast.
Welcome to BJ and Bill, the podcast, a part of the Podcast Playground Network. Please give us that 5-star review, subscribe, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your favorite podcast, which is this one right here, BJ and Bill, the podcast. Also, follow us on Facebook, BJ and Bill, the podcast. And as always, you can contact us, BJ and Bill podcast at gmail.com. And of course, welcome to episode 106.
Nice. 106. That's an FM frequency, but just barely. So we're getting there. We're running out of radio space.
We'll be Cat Country 107 FM next episode.
That's right. Right.
And then we're out of it.
Then we're
no
heading
more
for outer
radio
space.
band until we get up to the 1,000. And what was it, like 1010?
Well, no, you could once you get
there's
back to the
970.
AM, right? Once you get back to the AM band, you could start at like 610. So yeah, good. When I was a kid, it was when I was a kid growing up in New Jersey, across the bridge in Philadelphia, 610 TVN, WTVN. I wonder, they'll bet you they're still there. They were one of those legacy old school powerhouse 610 TVN.
I grew up with the big 89 WLS.
Oh yeah,
it said for Chicago.
Oh yeah, when I didn't get that one in Cleveland. What was the one in it was Canada, the one across the bridge from
CKLW?
CKLW. Oh my gosh, that came, as we say in the radio business, there's a little term in the radio business. That one came booming into Cleveland. And
yes,
especially at night. It was a
flamethrower.
It was a flamethrower. There's some good old radio terms for you. That's awesome. So how you doing there, old man? How's it going?
Not bad. Getting ready to have a celebration in the household today. Want to wish my beautiful bride, Susan, 65th birthday.
She won't mind that we tell the planet that she's 65 today. She doesn't.
Well, she celebrates that, I'm not, at least she tells her doctors as soon as she walks in, I'm on Medicare now.
Right. Oh, okay. So she's
she has to say, my insurance has changed. I'm officially now on Medicare.
Right. That's a big deal. That's a big deal when that happens. I mean, it was a big deal for me, and I don't even go to the doctor that much. But yeah, having to deal with all of that fun stuff, but it's okay.
And they used to say I was robbing the cradle, which means I am freaking old, people.
Yes, you are ridiculously old. Yes. So, but 65, at this point in life, the differences are not, it doesn't seem like it's as big a difference as it would have been, 40 years ago. So
65, it's the new 50.
Us old people keep pushing up the number, don't we? Right? 50 was the new 40, 60 was the new 50. Now 65 is who knows? We just keep pushing it up. So that's fine. That's good. I'm okay with that. Because I don't want to be old. I don't feel that old. So
yeah,
at least that's what I tell myself.
It's weird because I do think we tell ourselves that.
Oh, sure.
I tell myself that every day until I look in the mirror or we do this podcast and I see my face on this screen and I go, oh my God, who's that old man? He looks dead.
Put him out to pasture. Yes, I hear that. I do. So yeah, it's a little, well, it's a personal thing. That's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
it's all right.
But you do, don't you? What
do you mean?
Even when I was like in my 50s, and I don't know, I just always feel a lot younger than I am. And why do you do that? I don't understand.
Well, I think there is a little bit of a something to it. Mentally, of course, your brain doesn't know how old you are. I don't think it does. I mean, I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV, especially a brain doctor. but your brain is just in there doing its thing until the lights go off. I mean, it's just,
Kind of hard to tell yourself though that you're old when the lights go out.
Well, there's that. Yeah, there's that. So, but your brain has to deal with the body that doesn't always want to do the things that it used to be able to do so easily. So I don't know. I don't know how that works. We'll find out when we get old. I'll let you know when I feel old.
But yeah, today going to 30 years. Looking forward to it. We'll probably, we'll go around the world together today.
At least as far as Epcot Center is concerned.
Yeah, we're really just going around the lagoon, but
yeah, that's good enough. That's plenty good. It really is.
We'll be traveling by so many countries.
That's right. That's right. And are you going to eat at the park, or are you going to have dinner somewhere else, or?
We'll eat at the park, and okay. I might see. I'm going to go on record right now. Like we're at the parks, and my wife goes, "Oh, let's get something to eat. Let's get." I go,
sure.
Let's just get, let's eat on the way home for half the price.
Right.
But, she always likes to, they have these little food stands, especially when they have their little special events like the art fest and,
right.
The garden festival.
The garden thing, the wine
They always
thing.
have these little, pop up little restaurants or eat things where you get like plate full that's about the size of a little teacup saucer.
Right.
And that's that's the price of a full freaking meal, by the way.
At Applebee's.
Yeah. So my wife likes, and I'm like, no. I'm not paying $15 for like 3 bites. It's not going to happen in my lifetime.
Well, tonight it might.
Yeah, today it'll, like if she even wants to go to one of the restaurants, we'll go to one of the restaurants.
Wow.
Be broke in the morning, but at least we'll have traveled around the world together.
Right. Well, you can use one of her new Social Security checks for paying for dinner at the park. So,
but yeah, so we'll have fun. And
okay, good.
I'll let her. She's probably even listening right now because she's awake already.
All right.
I'll let her do whatever the hell she wants to do today.
Well, please tell her we all said happy birthday and congratulations yet again for putting up with BJ for another year. So,
and of course it's a big day too, because her brother is out of town.
Right.
But she is a twin. So she has her brother Gary, but they are like out west.
Oh,
they have like one of these campers now and they have retired.
Cool.
And they're kind of like going around the United States.
Very cool.
So
I think I could see myself doing that. I'm not sure about the camper thing about it. But, maybe a motorhome or something like that. I could definitely see myself doing that. Sure.
Yeah. My problem is, me, I drove a little like Yaris,
right.
Like a little Vega. All my life, I've driven little cars.
Yes.
Even this new car that I have is, and like the last car we had was a RAV4, which, is a little, SUV.
Yeah, small SUV. Yeah.
But this one is actually wider than the RAV. This little electric car is actually a bigger car than what we had. And I'm going, I just couldn't see myself driving. Of course, this one I like because you push a button and it stays in the lane for you. You don't even, like, all you got to do is kind of hold the wheel and it stays in the lane. You don't even have to worry about it.
Right.
But I can't see myself driving a camper around. I can't even hardly see myself driving a car across the United States, let alone seeing myself in a big old camper. How do we get in the other lane?
Right.
We got to get out of this lane. How do we get all the way over to the other lane? Oh my God.
And never mind the Walmart parking lot when you got to buy supplies. Oh my God. Yeah. That I understand. And I wouldn't want anything that big either. I mean, but I don't know. I'm open to the possibility of trying something. Who knows? But those are expensive.
And then I see these people, they're pulling their car behind this humongous bus.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, you'd never be able to change lanes.
Never. No. And find a parking space or anything else. And when it comes time to fill that sucker with gas, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to fill that thing with gas. Oh, yeah.
Now, I will say this. God bless my brother who is no longer with us.
Right.
But he, of course, he grew up on the, I grew up on the farm too, but I was a sickly boy.
Right.
So I stayed back with mom
Right.
while my bigger brother went out with my dad and did all the farming. So he was driving trucks and everything else, when he was probably 10 years old.
Right.
Because back then, the 10-year-olds took the grain to the market
Right.
while the father continued to do whatever he was doing. Because you take the back roads and you'd be 10 years old and you'd pull up to the elevator and say, "Hey, I got another load of corn for you."
Yeah. And that was totally normal. Totally
So-
perfectly normal.
So he drove cars and trucks all the time.
Right.
Even he at times said, "Oh man," because he actually, when he retired, instead of driving, a mobile home around the country, he drove mobile homes like he would go pick them up from the factory and he might deliver it out to California, New York, Florida, because you can't put those things on a semi and deliver them like you do cars.
Right. Right.
So they usually get driven to the location where they're going to be sold.
Right.
That was his job.
That nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I get it.
And of course, he'd put his little pickup truck, on the back of the, when he was, delivering so he could drive home. But he would say even times he had to stop and get gas and he would go, "Oh my God, how do I get out of here? How do I, how do I maneuver? How do I got to turn around and go the other way."
Oh,
So
yeah.
even him as a great driver at times was like, "Oh my goodness, this is like too much vehicle."
Well, all right. Well, stay safe out there. We know you'll be driving too. So, folks, you have been warned. BJ Odom will be on the road tonight. Look for that fancy Disney edition electric Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's super cool. You posted some pictures on Facebook the other day, and it is as cool as it. Yeah.
I finally gave in. Yeah, I didn't want to put it on Facebook because I know people will turn it into a political.
Probably.
And I didn't buy it political. It wasn't like, "Oh, I need." I mean, I guess I'm glad maybe if I'm saving the planet a little bit. I don't know if I am, but that's not the reason why I bought it. I bought it just because, I'm old.
Right.
I wanted a new toy that was fun and exciting. And I'm enjoying driving again.
Good for you.
It's
and the car has, like you said, so many computers and stuff on board that it will hopefully help keep you safe as well. Yeah.
I mean, it's got like all these little, like my wife has the little Mickey Mouse golf cart. Well, this is kind of the same way. It's got these little dots all the way around it, but it's all like these little, I don't know what you call them.
I don't know.
You're a computer guy. Like they're
dots. I don't know.
Dots. They're like warnings. They're like,
You mean like the backup camera and all of that stuff?
Well, yeah, well, that's in there too. But I mean, these little dots like are telling you that you're in the lane, or they're telling you that you're
little indicators.
Too close
I
to
know
the car you're parking next to.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, to help make you.
They like surround the car.
Okay.
But they're cool.
They are cool though. Yeah, I know. The whole car's cool. I know. That's good. All right, good for you.
We're actually thinking about, we really don't have a destination in mind.
Right.
But kind of like that, we're retired. We got nothing to do except for doctor's appointments, and they're about every week at our age. But, I'm thinking, let's take a trip because she has some friends up in northern Georgia.
Right.
That she really is close to one of the girls. I said, "Why don't we take a little ride to your friends up there in Calhoun, Georgia?"
Calhoun.
And I go, that way we can kind of, do our first real road trip. We went to Tampa the other day.
Right.
That was a piece of cake. I mean, we had more than enough, electricity or enough battery to drive all the way there, drive all the way home, and still had plenty of battery.
Right. That's the only thing, and we've talked about this before, that's the only reason I don't really think that it's for me just yet, and that is the cross-country driving part of it. Now, I don't do a ton of cross-country driving. I go and visit, speaking of northern Georgia, of course, as you know, I visit our friend Miss Vicky and her husband Rick up in Blue Ridge now and then. And see, I would think about that. I would be like, okay, Blue Ridge, Georgia, where the heck am I going to charge this car out in the middle of rural northern Georgia? I'm guessing there's a charging place up there. I don't know that.
Now, see, I
And
haven't done a trip yet,
no,
but I have, now that I own an electric car,
right.
they are all these apps that tell you like where
Yes.
these charging stations are.
Yes.
So I've got a few of those apps on my phone, and I've kind of like looked like, well, if I ever went back to Indiana to visit family,
Right.
and let me tell you, I come from a small town.
Small town.
I mean, you know,
Small
you,
town.
you drive by the stop sign in the four-way stop in the middle of town, you've went through town, basically.
There you
is what
go.
I'm telling
That's
you,
it.
okay?
That's it. Yeah.
But I like, so I've went on the app, and they're like everywhere.
Right.
You know,
That's the Electrify America people.
Well,
They're
no,
kind of like the biggest, aren't they?
I don't know. There's about 3 or 4 of them that are
Okay.
really,
Right.
really big. But I've looked at the apps and I go, everybody always says, "Oh, you're gonna have a problem finding a charging station." I don't think you'll ever have a problem.
Okay.
You might have to drive 5-10 miles out of your way.
Right.
And you're not going to wait till like, oh my God, my car's almost empty. With an electric car, you're going to get down to about 20%. And then it's time to start looking for,
you're thinking hard. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And being an old person, again, I'm going to bring up being the old person. Like when I was younger, get behind the wheel, stop and get gas and maybe grab a sandwich. And I would eat my sandwich while I was driving my car.
Okay.
Now I'm older.
Yeah.
I prefer to stop,
Right.
get my sandwich, sit there, enjoy my sandwich, stretch my legs, walk around a little because, I'm older. My body needs, to stretch and not get those blood clots in my legs for setting for, 10 hours. So I think it would be much easier being younger, not having children.
Right.
Because it wouldn't bother me to stop for 30, 45 minutes to let my car recharge.
I see what you're saying. So now the fact that it takes time it's not a big deal anymore.
Yeah, it's not as big a deal as I think when I was younger. Yeah, I want to zip in, zip out. Yeah. I want to be back on the road because I want to drive straight to Indiana, just no stops.
Right.
Well, now, if I go to Indiana, I want to stop at least 2 times at a hotel.
Right. Right. I get it. I do.
I want to rest my weary body.
Yes, rest your weary bones. So yours truly was resting his weary bones in front of the TV yesterday. Actually, that's not true. I did play pickleball last evening. And before the rains came to Gainesville, which has been every day. But football season is getting good, and it's only week 2. Mr. BJ?
I disagree.
You disagree that football is no longer getting...
I agree, but I disagree.
Tell me more.
For me, because I'm more of a team person. I root for certain teams.
Okay.
And I get excited about my certain teams.
Okay.
So to me, football season is almost over with.
And you're not going to just be able to let that thing lay there on the table. You're going to have to explain that a little bit. Almost over with. What's up with that? It's only
Gators.
Week 2.
I don't see them doing anything at all.
Oh, you're talking college football?
Well, I'm going to start there.
Okay, let's start there. Yeah, college football. Did I send the blimp? Did I send you my blimp?
Oh, yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, we had a blimp sighting in Gainesville on Saturday. And believe me, it wasn't the only thing full of hot air around here. The Gators were awful.
They were in the swamp and got swamped.
Thank you. They were, and it rained, and we had a half an hour. Actually, it was like a 40-minute lightning delay, which was terrible. Like in the first quarter or something like that, where it's like, okay, we're just not going to play. So didn't matter. I mean, it didn't matter as far as the game went. The Gators got chomped big time by Memphis of all people.
Yeah, it wasn't even anybody go, well, okay, I can live with that.
Right.
2.
It was terrible. Huh?
I follow 2 college teams, maybe 3 at the most.
Okay. And they are? Gators?
Purdue, You think
Oh,
you
Purdue.
you think the Gators got chomped?
Purdue Boilermakers. That's
Oh
going way
my!
back.
Oh my God! They got Boilermakers all the way down to the boiler. What
I
was
hear
that?
you.
66 to what? 10? What was it?
I'll be honest with you. I was not paying any attention to. I was out running a lot of errands on Saturday, so I watched some of the Gator game, and then the rest of it I had on the radio. That's how I got the blimp picture. I was out driving around, and I'm like, oh look, the blimp. So anyway, Boilermaker. Who did they play? Purdue
No,
versus
they played Notre Dame. So
Notre Dame. Well, okay, Notre Dame. That's a good team.
yeah, so my son would have been happy. He's more of a Notre Dame person. I'm more of a Purdue person.
Okay,
And what's really
good.
funny, he moved away from Indiana when he was 4 years old, but he's still, for some reason, he's Notre Dame.
Notre Dame fan, right? Right.
I don't get it, but
But he's not an Indiana Pacers fan, is he?
Yeah, I think he's more of a Lakers fan with all of his
Right.
connections to the Lakers.
Right. Anyway,
he DJ'd Kobe's retirement party.
oh, look at you. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
get
connections
invited.
are Mr. Shaq O'Neal there had a little connection there. So all good.
Well, what
So
it
anyway,
was, Shaq was supposed to DJ his retirement party. And there was just too many people there. My son actually was on the road with him at that time.
right.
And Shaq just said, I got to shake hands with too many people. This is your gig.
Right.
I'm going to
That's
go.
super cool.
I'm going to go run around. You're the DJ for the night.
That's
So
super
he
cool.
basically DJ. I mean, he wasn't booked. Let's just say that he wasn't booked to DJ Kobe Bryant's retirement party, but he was the guy who
Can't
DJ.
get any better than that. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope he's got 100 pictures, 1,000 pictures.
He's
So,
got quite a few, and
good. Yeah, that's pretty good resume material right there. But anyway, back to the football.
Yeah. So
It was brutal. And then do you also, you said you followed 3. Who's the third one? It wouldn't
once
be
in a while-
Florida State, would it?
oh no, I'm not. No.
Because they're getting chomped too. Whatever you could. Yeah, they're getting. It's awful. It's awful.
Every now and again, if I see, and that's just because I think the teams are just fabulous. If I see Georgia or I see Alabama is playing a game, I usually, okay, hey,
Sure.
Not that I'm really, a big fan of either. I mean, I guess I enjoy watching their games.
Right.
But if those teams aren't playing, or maybe IU, I'm probably not going to stop by and watch it. Where, you would watch college football all day long.
Well, yeah, usually there's a good. Now, you mentioned Georgia. I did date that lady who lives in Georgia, just over the border, north of Jacksonville. And she went to Georgia, huge Georgia fan. Well, all people in Georgia are big Georgia fans. I mean, come on. But this lady was crazy big Georgia fan. Went parties, shirts, hats, the whole thing. I mean, crazy. So I ended up texting with her just a little bit because we're still buddies. And, Kentucky gave them a game. That was like, wow. It was right down to the last couple of minutes. Kentucky's got a shot at this. And I still think, of course, as we record this on a Monday morning. The new college football poll is not out yet. But by the time you hear this show on Wednesday, the new college football poll will be out. And I'm guessing that Georgia will no longer be number 1. They just didn't. They were, they won, but Texas had a way better game. Texas had a great game. So anyway, college football. There you go.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm not a huge. I would prefer watching college basketball than college football.
Gotcha. So it's a good time for sports nowadays. If you're a sports fan, late summer has all of a sudden become a deal here for you because you got this NFL starting, college football going strong, WNBA coming to playoff time, and baseball coming to playoff time. It's a good time to be a sports fan. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. What was that, Mr. Odom? You in the back. What would you like to say?
Playoffs. Speaking of playoffs, we are now in the NASCAR playoffs.
Oh, we are we? See, I'm showing my ignorance when it comes to all things NASCAR. Tell me more.
Eh,
Yeah,
not
I
a
know.
whole
I
lot.
was watching a game and you said, "Oh, I got to switch at 3:00. There's a race on," and I'm like, "Really? Okay,
Yeah, not that not I'm a Denny Hamlin fan,
okay,
and he is like really in the hole right now. He's almost going to have to win the next race to continue on because their playoffs is kind of like I guess you have like 16, and then it goes down to 12,
right,
and then it goes down. Well, I forget what the numbers are, but the final races, 4 people are vying for the championship, and whoever comes out, not don't have to win the race, but who
right,
was ever ahead of the other 3 is the champion. That I think it's kind of dumb how they do it, but that's
okay,
how they do it.
okay." And this
I
all
think there's a
leads up
lot of
to
I think there's a lot of things in NASCAR that needs to be improved, but I don't run the league. I have no say in the league, so I can't make any of the changes that I would make.
they're
But in
not
my
calling you.
opinion, the playoffs in NASCAR, even getting to the playoffs, is stupid.
Okay, all
So
right,
we
I
can
hear
move
you.
on from NASCAR.
Okay, on from NASCAR. Now, we were talking college football poll, and just before we take our break here, because I know we got some NFL stuff to talk about too, that it is Monday morning and it's a late Monday morning. So the new AP poll is out. And as yours truly predicted 2 minutes ago, well, yeah, I didn't go out on a limb for that. Texas is now number 1 in the nation, having moved up from number 2. Georgia, they flipped. Georgia, the Bulldogs, now down to number 2. Ohio State had the weekend off. They stay at number 3. So your top 10, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee moved up 1. Missouri moved down 1. Miami moved up 2. Oregon the same. Penn State moved down 2. So that's interesting. Texas number 1. Good for you. Good for you, Longhorns.
None of my teams were mentioned in there.
Wait a minute. You I thought you didn't have a college. Well, all right, go ahead. Tell us, what's your college football team? Oh, Purdue?
Yeah, Purdue and the Gators.
Oh, the Gators were not even in the top 25 to start the year, and they are so far. It's like staring at the moon at this point. I think it's a little ways away.
That's why I said my college football,
Your college football season
for
is
this
over.
year is over.
You know,
already.
It might also be over for Gator head football coach Billy Napier. Believe me, reading the local media and watching the local TV and reading up online for all the Gator stuff. It's like, why are we waiting? Why aren't we making the phone calls right now to see who's out there? And I'm like, wow, 2 games in, 3 games in. Sorry.
I don't know. I still think you got to almost wait till the end of the season to see who might even be available. Trying to find anybody good, like as soon as the season starts, it's not going to happen.
No, I agree with that. And I don't know if Florida has an assistant coach who can step in as an interim head coach. I don't know that, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out real quick. Cause who do the Gators have next? I knew that. Oh, hell, I forgot. So anyway, Alexa, who do the Florida Gators play next in football?
I'm just going to say too, then I said this earlier in the season, even I hate the portal.
Oh yeah. Alexa, stop. Mississippi State. Oof, that's another L. That's sorry. I'm sorry. Alexa, and I cut you off. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
I just said the portal.
Oh yeah.
The portal and the way NASCAR forms its championship, both in the same realm for me.
In the department of this sucks.
Yeah. I think once you commit to a school, if you can't play there for 4 years, you shouldn't have committed in the first place. I don't know. They're all trying to make a career.
Sure, they are. I get it.
But they're supposed to be going to school for an education, not to play.
Oh, really? I hear what you're saying. We're past that now. That ship has sailed, as the cliche goes. That ship has sailed, and I don't see any way of going back to anything. There's no good old days to go back to at this point. Never mind what
Now,
politicians say.
Let me ask you a question, Bill Stevens.
Okay,
Just
go ahead.
ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
If I am a great actor,
I've seen you. Yeah, go ahead.
and I have goals to be on Broadway or to
Yes.
make movies,
Make movies, yes.
and I go to a small college because of their drama team and their drama program.
Department, yes, I hear you.
And all of a sudden I go, oh, but if I could just go to UCLA,
Right.
and I could be on that stage, I would be closer to Hollywood.
Closer to Hollywood, yes.
And why can I just get on the portal?
The actors portal.
The actors portal and just transfer myself
To UCLA.
to UCLA where I can be seen by the world.
I think USC is your better choice for acting, but I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on that. I have no idea. So my question to you is, what's stopping you? There's nothing to stop you from doing that. Sure, you've signed up for Rensselaer Community College for now, but there's nothing that says, hey, I'm transferring to UCLA. See ya. There's nothing that says you can't do that.
Yeah, but would it happen?
Better...
They go, oh, let's say now how many actors can make just as much money as sports figures.
Yes, they do. Yes, they can.
They don't have portals. They don't have do they have scholarships for drama?
I'm pretty sure there are scholarships for everything. I don't know that though. Don't quote me on that. But I would assume that, there's scholarships for sciences and all sorts of things like that. So there probably are. I don't know. Good question. We should check on that. Here at my apartment where I live in Gainesville, upstairs, two partners, two gentlemen, and one of them is in the drama department at the University of Florida. So I don't know. Maybe I could ask for you if you'd like to see if there's any openings.
Find out if there's a portal.
If there's a portal for actors.
There's an acting portal.
Yes. I'll check on that for you. I'll get back to you on that one. So, an acting portal. There's this for a few months more, for a little while longer. This is still a free country, just for a little while longer. And as far as I know, you can probably go to college wherever you want. There's nothing that says you can't. Yeah, of course there is. Of course there is. There's nothing that says you can't change your school. Now, with this portal thing, I get it. It is kind of crazy. And by the way, what's his name? I forget his first name. Etienne, the younger brother of the running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who was a Florida Gator, is now a Georgia Bulldog because of that very same portal. Etienne, I forget his first name, but anyway, he's doing great things at Georgia now instead of suffering with the rest of the Gators in Gainesville. So there you go.
Well, it's time for us to use the portal.
Yes, it is.
And portal into the break.
Portal into the break, or portal into men's room if you so desire.
I'm going to the portable portal.
Portal. All right. Well, you do whatever you need to do. Refill that coffee, make your pit stop, because we will be right back. Welcome back. I'm Bill Stevens. That's BJ Odom. This is BJ and Bill, the podcast. And as we said at the beginning of the show, we would love it if you would leave that 5-star review, wherever you collect your podcasts, and have them sent to your device of choice. Again, it's BJ and Bill podcast. Look for the brown logo with the little cartoon of the two of us. That's how you know it's us. And you can always visit our Facebook page, do a search for BJ and Bill podcast. But most importantly, leave that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you. Okay. Are you done ranting about portals and car racing and all that?
We took a break. I went to the portal and now I feel fine.
Now you feel better. Okay.
I think I was just full of portal.
So here is the important question. We've been lots of sports this week. And if you're not a sports fan, I apologize, but lots of sports this week. And it's kind of something we both enjoy. So you're going to hear about it. And BJ Odom might have been 2 weeks ago at the start of the football season, made quite the promise that he said if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by our man Baker Mayfield, can win three in a row, he would go out and purchase himself one of those very nice, and might I add, very expensive Baker Mayfield official NFL jerseys. We're 2 out of 3 so far, and next week the Bucs have the Denver Broncos. Not exactly a powerhouse team. It's looking like you better get that credit card warmed up, young man.
Well, the way they played yesterday
against Detroit.
I knew it was going to be a squeaker if they were to win.
Sure.
It wasn't going to be an easy win.
Okay.
And towards the end, I said, if Baker can pull this off, I might just have to go out and buy that jersey after the game.
Right.
But now I'm hesitating, not because I don't believe.
Oh.
But it's my wife's birthday. Can't go out and, order a jersey that costs like almost $200.
Well, you could, because
on her
arrive.
Birthday.
It won't arrive for a week. Oh, look, honey, look what just showed up. Yeah, no, I get it. You can order it tomorrow. We'll give you a grace for one day. Sure.
But I'm really, but let me tell you this, but I know there's some injuries. If they don't fix that offensive line, they're going to have some trouble. Because Baker did a marvelous job with a crap offensive line.
Of running for his life. He had a couple of moves that would make a good running back look good. I mean, he did. And yes, he got sacked. I mean, one line, and I forget his name, had like 4.5 sacks or something like that. 5.5. And that was always the problem in Cleveland. I remember this. I was there for it. The problem in Cleveland was they couldn't protect him. And so he had to scramble for his life, and it didn't work out so well. Now, yesterday, it worked out okay. Not great, but okay. So, yes, you're right. We got to get that offensive line into, like, boys, this is your one. You got one job, as they say. You got one job. So we'll see how it goes.
Now, you are a much smarter person when it comes to sports, especially football, than I, because I came to the party late. So I was talking to my son last night, and we were talking about this offensive line for the Bucs. And I says, yeah, and we were talking about the gentleman, and I forget his name too, who got the 5.5 sacks.
Oh, yeah. I can look that up for us, but it's not important.
I'm talking to my son. I go, okay, son, explain to your old man what the hell is 5.5 sacks. How do you get a half a sack? He goes, well, that's when two players tackle at the same time, and then they both receive a half a sack.
They get credit, yes.
So now I get it. But
now you get it. Okay, good.
That sounds so stupid. You got a half a sack.
It's like going to
last thing I want to be if I'm a football player is a half a sack.
Half a sack. I get it. I do. I understand. But hey, careers are made on those statistics. And maybe next week he has another half, so he gets up to a whole number. I don't, whatever. Now I did this morning. I do read the sports headlines. Let me find this page. Do you hear BJ Odom? And you've just said that football is not, it's not your wheelhouse. I get it. And I have to admit that this was a term I've never heard before in football. And that's saying something. Now, it's not an official football term, but if I asked you, would you know what the word scorigami means?
I think that's that you got to have it just right. So, it'll help your chakras. And if you don't have a scorigami, your chakras are going to be completely off.
Completely out of line. I understand. And you're not crazy far off. That's the funny part with all of this. So anyway, you're right, like origami, like paper folding, like making the little dragons out of folded paper in, the Japanese art, which is, they're beautiful, by the way, but got nothing to do with football. A scorigami, yesterday in the NFL, there was a scorigami, which is, by the way, for those who don't know, it happened in the game yesterday with the New Orleans Saints and Dallas Cowboys. Saints blew out the Cowboys big time. Okay. The final score of the game was 44-19. Now, so what, you say? Well, that is a rare scoreigami. It is the first time in NFL history that a game has ever ended with that exact combination of numbers, 44-19. There have been, for those of you keeping track at home, and I know this is something you're going to write in your diary, there have been 1,086 scoreigamis in NFL history. Now, of course, 100 years ago, it was pretty easy. Oh, 7-0. Oh, scoreigami. I'm sure they didn't think of it until just a year ago or so, when they started to really keep track that this final score has never happened before. So anyway, the 1,086th unique final score in NFL history. Now, the funny thing is, it says this marks the second week in a row there's been a scoreigami. And in both games, the losing team scored 19 points. So apparently the stars are aligned, or something's going on. I don't know. So you have a new word for your sports vocabulary today. When you go to the bar tonight to watch Monday Night Football, as we record this, it's Monday night. As you go to the bar to watch whatever football game, you could probably win a couple of bar bets by asking somebody to define scoreigami.
You know
I'll
what?
take sports trivia for 1,000, please, Alex.
I got a feeling. I could be going out on a limb here.
Mm-hmm.
But this sounds like Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson got together watching football one day and said, you know what? That's a scoreigami right there. Yeah, I think so too there, Willie.
You're right, Willie. You're right. You're so right with scoreigami. Yeah. Honestly, it's pretty funny when I look at something and I go, I have never, in sports, I mean, in football, I'm pretty good with football, never heard of that before in football. And that kind of blew my mind. I got to admit, it really did. So anyway, apparently there's a Twitter account, an X, it's not X now. There's an NFL Twitter account, and they posted that sort of thing and all of that. So anyway, now you can, again, go out, win some bar bets, have a great time, blow some people's minds with that sort of thing. Scoreigami.
No, wait. Let me get my cowboy hat on. Hold on. Gotta get my cowboy hat.
Your what hat?
My cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat.
Let me get my cigar.
Cigar.
Get my cigar in hand.
Yep.
Them Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys? Oh boy. Dak
Prescott's making money like no tomorrow.
They blew out Cleveland in week one.
Cowboys.
They blew out Cleveland in week one, and then they themselves got totally blown out yesterday by the New Orleans Saints. Go figure. That's why I love football. That's why I love football. You never know. Week to week, you can have a feeling. You can, Las Vegas will tell you, oh, these guys like the Georgia game. Again, not NFL, but football. The Georgia-Kentucky game. Georgia was a 23-point favorite. 23 points. I'm like, where was I 24 hours ago to put $1,000 down on that? Make some serious money.
I'll bet you could go to FanDuel.
FanDuel, yeah, all of those.
And you could bet on the next Bucks game.
Of course you can.
And I'll bet you could bet if not, there would be a scoreigami.
You can in on those apps, believe me, FanDuel and DraftKings and all of them. Somebody's running a really, see that. I'm putting that in the back of my mind. Yes, you can go to any of those. You can bet on so many different things and weird happenings and combinations. And you could bet on whether or not the guy who had 5.5 sacks for Detroit, how many sacks he will have in his next game. You can bet on any of that. Wait, rewind though. Pause. Take a timeout. We talked about this last week. I'm pretty sure we did, maybe 2 weeks ago. And here's another example. It just popped into my mind. I was watching the games yesterday. There was a great TV commercial for one of the betting apps. And it showed a guy sitting on his couch, and his twin, his doppelganger, his AI faked self is sitting on the couch next to him, telling him it's time to bet the over under. And he opens the refrigerator, and there's the guy in the fridge going, take Cleveland. And he closes it. And then so funny commercial, but I don't know who it was for. I don't know which app it was for. It was for one of the betting apps, but I don't know which one. See, I think we talked last week about great TV commercials. Yeah,
and you enjoy the commercial, but you have no idea what they're for.
They're so good or so funny or so whatever, but you like, I don't know what they were selling. Well, I know what this one was selling, but I don't know which one, which is just as bad. So anyway, there you go. There you go. So you could go bet. You're going to go bet on scorigamis now? Is that your thing?
Yeah.
There's been 2 in a row.
I will tell you this, though, and this is my final thought with sports right now.
Okay.
Is, I'm a Bucks fan, and that's really my team. I mean, that's the team I ride or die. That's my ride or die team.
Me too.
Now, we talked about a game just before, I talking about what I'm talking about, that origami score.
That scorigami, yes.
And that's the only team that now I am worried about in the division with the Bucks.
New Orleans. They're pretty sharp.
Yeah.
What's his name? Quarterback who came over from Vegas, Carr. Yeah. He's like reborn. He's like feeling young again. He stepped into that portal. He lost 10 years. But they look sharp.
They better get a better offensive line, the Bucks, before they play the Saints. Yeah. I don't know when that is, but it's probably coming up before too long, because they probably will play twice this year because they're in the same division.
They probably will. Now there's only, of course, because of my old hometown, we talk about home. You got your home state, Indiana and all that. You follow the whatever teams from there. Some of you do. My Cleveland Browns came to Jacksonville yesterday. I was this close, and I'm holding 2 fingers up. I was that close to going to the game. Glad I didn't. It rained hard for most of the second half. The Browns did win. And that was almost like, who do I root for? Because I'm kind of a Jags fan, and I'm definitely a Browns fan. Who do I root for? But I was happy to see the Browns win that one. So anyway, all right, that's football. There you go.
Did we cover it all?
As far as sports goes, boy, this has been a sports talk show program this morning. Colin Cowherd, you got nothing on us. Nothing.
I don't know. He's got a lot on me, though, because he is a lot more knowledgeable than me.
He is.
He can fake it well.
Yeah, he's super knowledgeable, but that's okay. So anyway, so you got 10 minutes. What else you got?
I got nothing now.
Oh, nothing now? Well, we can go back and talk more sports. No, I don't know. That's
no, because I think we pretty well covered everything that there is. Because I didn't see anything new. I mean, I guess
I brought my scorigami. I brought my scorigami to the table. Come on, what are you talking about?
We don't talk politics. And
God, thank you for that. Although that's getting weird. Well, to say politics is getting weird is a total understatement. It's getting weirder. Is that the right word? I don't know,
but we're going to Epcot to eat around the world. I wonder if I can find any doggies and kitties. I'm just craving that lately. I don't know what it is.
Don't go there. You don't want hate mail. You thought you would get hate mail for putting pictures of an electric car on your Facebook page. You starting to talk about pets and dinner. You're going to get some, folks. That's BJ Odom. Send them to you. Please go to his Facebook page, not mine. I don't. It's funny to me. It's just funny as all get out. Somebody did a great, and of course now with AI, it's unbelievable how good and AI can be with stuff. And again, I'm on Twitter or X or whatever the heck you want to call it. I'm on X. It's my new Facebook. I admit it. I'm pretty much never on Facebook. I am on X a lot. And somebody posted some videos of like the little kittens, super cute little kittens, like AI created kittens in army gear with the helmets and carrying rifles and parachuting out of planes to rescue their brothers and sisters in Ohio. It was hilarious and also weird. So anyway, I don't know. Can things get any more weird out there? I don't get it. I really don't.
Well, the Mises are rooting that they get. they lose the war. They've been eating nuts long enough. About time somebody started eating them.
Mice and rats are cheering, huh?
You know what's really funny about it? I mean, this joke goes back years and years and years about the guy who goes to and this, it's a joke, people. This is a joke, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the guy that goes to the Chinese restaurant and takes all the bones from his meal and puts a cat skeleton together.
Yeah. And somebody put, and it wasn't in
that's
Ohio.
An old joke too. That's old.
Yeah, it was a joke. Of course it's a joke. Of course it's a joke. Come on, people. But see, that's the problem. You can't. I find lots of things funny. I find still just as much funny today as I did 20 years ago. And I'm guessing you do too. But the problem is you can't tell things as jokes anymore, because somewhere somebody, probably with purple hair, is going to go, I'm offended by that or whatever. And I'm like, tough stuff.
Well, now I'm offended that you had to put purple hair into it. Purple's my favorite color. Now you got to make us people with purple hair just.
See, I've offended you now. On Twitter, I follow the British comedian Ricky Gervais. He's as mean as it comes when it comes to spearing all of this stuff. I mean, he's still hilariously funny. But one of his most famous tweets or posts or whatever is, here's a joke. You're offended. I find it funny. That's why my life is better than yours, or something like that. But basically, it's like, it's just a joke. It's just, get over it. It's just a joke.
You know what? You wouldn't be able to be Don Rickles anymore.
Oh, no. Oh, I've thought of that so many times, that these old school comedians, and think of like when they used to do those roasts and stuff. I know they did one with Tom Brady, but they made it so much about, him and all that it wasn't that, I didn't think it was that funny. But those old Dean Martin roasts, and oh my God, they were so funny.
Well, I remember when political correctness was first starting to happen.
Right.
And one of my favorite comedians, who is no longer with us, and I miss him every day, G. David Howard.
Oh, yeah.
He used to do a lot of ethnic jokes.
Our old friend, G. David Howard. Yeah.
And then ethnic jokes became like taboo.
Can't do that.
So he always did. Goes, can't do like, this joke or this joke or this joke. Because always after a show, I'll have someone come up and say, hey, I'm Polish. You just said a Polish joke. So, and he went through, a bunch of different,
Right. You know how many Polish jokes I put up with when I was a kid?
Yeah.
All of them.
You did an Italian joke. I'm Italian.
Right. I get it.
He goes, you know what I'm doing? I'm changing all my ethnic jokes to ignorant jokes.
To ignorant.
And he goes, come on, think about it. Somebody come up to me after a show and go, hey, you know that ignorant joke you just told? I'm ignorant. I'm offended by it. One of my, because when that kind of became taboo, that's what he did. He changed all of his ethnic jokes to ignorant jokes. And when he did that line, it was just classic.
It is.
I'm just changing them all to ignorance, because it's not what somebody going to come up to me after a show and say, hey, you did an ignorant joke. Now I'm ignorant. Now I was offended.
Of course, the good news is if they were ignorant, they wouldn't know to come up to be offended after the show. So yeah, I get it. It works two ways. So, but yeah, no, you can't. Who was that? Oh, I was thinking of another one. Rodney Dangerfield would have no career today. None. Yeah. Well, actually, he was pretty good with ripping on himself too.
Yeah, he was
good with that. So maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. But yeah, so many of those. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. In 100 years, when they write the history books of this stupid period of history, in my opinion, it'll be interesting to see. Of course, you and I won't be around for it, but 2 or 3 lifetimes from now, when I come back to this earth as somebody else, hopefully I'll remember, oh yeah, I lived through that time. It was pretty stupid and crazy and weird. Anyway, I don't know. So
course, they might be saying, when they think about, this century or whatever, instead of cavemen, it'll be, once upon a time, there was another civilization here.
Well, if you're
and
a
then
fan,
they all blew themselves up.
They blew themselves up
because they were stupid.
Yeah.
And now that was like, 10 billion years ago.
Not even that. 5,000 years. If you're a fan, I mean, it's not, I don't think it's on the air anymore, but I mean, it was huge back in the day. Maybe it was just huge for me. That old Ancient Aliens TV show that, I mean, it was crazy. Was it crazy and wild? Yes. Did it have some interesting ideas? Yes. And that is exactly what you're talking about, is that there was a civilization around on this planet probably multiple times. And yes, they blow themselves up. They wipe themselves out. They go to Mars. They do something, and civilization starts over again. And that's kind of where we're at. And it may not take a gigantic asteroid. It may not take God flooding the planet again. Who knows? We might just do it to ourselves this time.
I think it's going to be us.
Yeah. And then we just start. And then it's like the referees in the NFL. Please reset the clock to 32 seconds. The clock will start on my whistle. And we're off and running again. So
that's also where conspiracy theories begin.
Oh, sure.
Is in sports.
Really?
I'm not a big Kansas. I mean, I can take Kansas City. Right. Or I can leave Kansas City.
I think if you're not somewhere in the middle of the country, you're probably because I agree with you 100%. I could take them or leave them. They're kind of entertaining to watch, but I can take them or leave them.
Yeah. So towards the end of the game, the other team was to score, and it was,
Cincinnati.
what do they call it? Where you push somebody who's going to catch the ball.
Pass interference.
And so they called them on it. And I saw like 3 posts immediately after that on Facebook going, well, the refs gave it to them. The refs didn't give it to them. It was actually, what they called.
Right.
Although even to myself, I said, oh man, should you call that with like about, 12 seconds to go?
Right.
And they did.
And they did. And Kansas City won. So yeah. I get it. I totally get it. And can I say this? Will I get hate mail if I say this? I'm done with Taylor Swift in the booth. I am. I'm sorry. No,
what now? Oh, let me ask you something though.
Uh-oh.
Now, so what? You think if she has a boyfriend, she shouldn't be at the game?
I hear you. Wait a minute. Before you get on my case, which you will and you're allowed to, I was the one last year who said she is the best thing for the NFL ever, because you're going to get so many new fans, young ladies and their boyfriends who would have never thought to watch football are going to watch football for Taylor Swift. And you're going to open this up to a whole new audience of people. I get it. The marketing piece of it. I'm over it.
Well, here's what I'm going to explain to you.
Now to answer your question, hold that thought. To answer your question, they don't show anybody else's pretty girlfriend, anybody else's pretty wife and kids, none of it. Just her.
Well, Simone Biles or
Simone Biles.
I've seen her before at football games.
Right.
Because she has a boyfriend who is in the NFL.
Yep.
And she's not even really famous. That team, the quarterback, why am I not remembering her name?
I don't know. Who are you thinking of?
The team you're talking about that you don't like Taylor Swift at.
Oh, Kansas City.
They're showing, what's his name? Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
They're showing his girlfriend a lot too.
His wife. He's married.
That's what I mean. Wife.
Yeah. And I will now.
But here's
having said that, I will admit.
But here's who you should blame.
They did show Baker Mayfield and his wife because they just had a new baby. So I get it. Okay, fine.
Now here's who you should blame though. Not Taylor Swift. That you're over it. You should blame the network.
Of course. Because if I'm CBS or NBC or ESPN or whoever, and I have Taylor Swift at my game, you better believe I'm showing her at some point, more than once. Absolutely. I get the marketing piece of it. I understand the marketing. I was the one that brought that subject up. I understand the marketing piece of it.
But you're just over it.
I'm just saying I'm just over it.
I understand
That's
that
all.
you're over it, yeah, but I was going to say, just don't blame her. Blame the network or blame whoever.
Yeah, no,
but,
yeah.
It's not her fault they keep,
Sucks to be famous. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I could be let me tell you, I could go to a Bucks game.
Right.
They'd never put the camera on me.
Look,
And if they should be
everybody.
putting it on anybody who comes to a Bucks game, it
It's
should be
BJ
me.
Odom. Look,
It
everybody.
should be me,
It's
damn
BJ.
it.
Look who's here. Wow.
Oh, one final thing, and then we're going to get out of here.
Okay, fine.
Yesterday, tell me
Yes.
what happened. I don't get it. So I watched the Bucks game.
Yeah.
The second game. Shouldn't there have been a second game on Fox?
Oh, good question.
Where was Tom Brady?
Good question. There was no second game on, because I flipped back and forth a couple of times and I'm like, wait a minute, it's still the post game show and it's 4:30. If there's a second game, it kicks off at 4:00 thereabouts, and there wasn't. So you're right. We ended up being stuck with the CBS, which wasn't a bad game. I forget who it was, but it was a good game. Because I really did yesterday, and you and I were texting about this. I really did the YouTube TV split screen, Buccaneers, Detroit on one side, Cleveland and Jaguars on the other side. And it worked. I was surprised at how well it worked. The only thing is, and it was easy, you could switch back and forth to have the sound of whichever game you wanted. But you kind of had to pay attention. It's like, okay, I'm listening to this sound. Is it that game? Is it that game? Is it? And I finally figured out that YouTube put a little like white frame around the screen that you were listening to as well as watching. So it worked out okay. So, but anyway, to answer your question, I don't know what happened on CBS. It couldn't have been a local game, or
No, because
Miami
played Monday.
Yeah, Miami played Thursday night, so it would have been a Miami game to black out. So there was no game to black out for us, especially for me. That's weird.
I said, oh, good. Because I was saying, oh, good. After the Bucks game, I'm going to be able to actually watch Tom Brady and see, I'm going to be able to judge him for his time in the broadcast booth. And then they didn't play a second game. So
you're right. So now for the second week in a row, I have not heard one peep out of Tom Brady, and I'm looking forward to hearing that. So yeah.
He probably said, you know what? I worked last week. I need the week off. We're not doing a game of the week.
Maybe so. There is a really cool commercial. Have you seen the Fox Sports commercial with Tom Brady where all of his past selves come back to talk to him?
Yeah.
And it's you think you're done. And he's like, back to work. It's a good commercial. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just wondering that.
So anyway,
you would have the answer.
I don't have this is a question that cannot be answered. The gods of Fox Broadcasting somehow decided no second game or didn't have, I don't know. So we'll find out next week.
You let me down again, Bill Stevens.
I'm so sorry, BJ Odom. I think you should probably, end the show at this point. So
okay.
On this
it's over. It's just,
no, I don't want to end on a disappointing note. It's over for this week. So anyway, that's that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you go out there, you make yourself a great week. Now, I don't know if I want to apologize for all the sports talk or not. It's something we enjoy and something we like talking about. So,
well, I think at least we have added a little, like the portal, and we've added a little humor along the way. So.
Yes, we have. Absolutely. So, it helps a lot. I know it helps me. So anyway, that's all that matters.
And if you don't like it, listen to this podcast. What is it called? It's called now I forget the name of it.
Vinyl Boys.
There's a guy and there's a girl, and they talk about life, and they talk about cards. They play cards or some kind of
angel cards and we all that stuff.
Yeah. So if you don't like this one, just go listen. Go
listen to the Practical Path podcast with
because you know what they even talked about me a couple weeks
ago. We did talk about BJ Odom once or twice. Yes.
So I found that quite entertaining.
Or you could go listen to The Gift of Life with some other Yahoo of some sort. Some guy had a heart transplant. That's a big deal.
Yeah. And then a kidney. And they talk about all these people, getting all these different parts. Well, I've been to McDonald's. Parts are parts. Let me just tell you, I've had their chicken McNuggets.
All right, good. I'm glad we ended it on a laugh. I'm glad. Go out, make it a great week, everybody. We'll see you again next week. Until then, it's just up to BJ Udom to say,
See ya.